here. Hello. Hey everybody, it is Nick Libert with Exit Realty and my friend Colleen from Prime Lending.
Hello, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, everyone. So we are here at my beautiful listing at 1110 North Lakeshore Drive. We're going to be doing a lot of talking. Hopefully you will have some questions for us. So if you do, you can put them in the little chat box. We promise to hopefully remember to look by the end of this to look at them and answer them. But the whole point of why we're here today is this is a perfect example, this property, of what is a contradiction of what you think about this current real estate market. What we read in the media and what you're maybe hearing from friends, and what the reality is for a lot of our clients is that yes, you're in multiple bid situations, you're getting outbid on a lot of properties. It's a difficult market for a buyer. There's just no way to sugarcoat it. However, there are properties like this one that we're standing in, my listing at 1110 North Lakeshore Drive. I mean, take a look at this beautiful view behind me and Colleen here. It's absolutely exceptional. It's an A++ location as well. And it is, guess what? A motivated seller without multiple bids that you can come in and you can negotiate with like a normal human being in a normal transaction should. And we're seeing this all over in the market, is that there's little pockets of opportunity. So for example, I have a client in Lakeview that is under contract on a wonderful 3-bedroom condo that in theory, if you look at all the checklist items, should have gone in a multiple bid situation. Instead, it had a market time of over 30 days. We came in with a very low bid and we ended up getting a great deal, 10% off the asking price and 10% off of what everything else in the area is going for, because everyone's running into the newest listing and saying, ooh, this is perfect, this is what I want. When maybe there's something out there that needs just a little bit of work, a little bit of tweaking to make it your own. And what a lot of people are saying is, well, I don't have a contractor. I have contractors for you that I've tested. I've gotten rid of all the bad ones, sometimes through terrible circumstances, but got rid of the bad ones and I found some really good ones. And then the other big thing is, Nick, I don't have the money. I barely have enough money down, or I only want to put this much into the property, and that is where Colleen comes in. So I'm going to step behind the camera for a moment while Colleen talks to you a little bit about what a rehab loan basically is. I'm going to see if we have any questions yet, and then after that, we're going to take you through this property as an idea of what a rehab loan could look like, and getting you an actual property that you're not in a multiple bid situation paying way over asking price. But I am going to also show you today my 7 tips. We call them the Lucky 7, Libert's Lucky 7. You know, I've always got some sort of cheesy term for things. 7 different strategies I'm using to win multiple bids if you do want to go into one. But what I'm cautioning my clients right now is to be a little bit more careful and be a little bit more open to an idea like this. So Colleen, talk to us a little bit about renovation loans.
Awesome. The renovation loan product that we have right now is spectacular. We have 3 different investment ones where you only have to put 15% down on that property. And then we do our appraisal first with the contractor's bid, a contractor that Nick loves, that we
and you can pick your own contractor as well. We're going to give you some better lighting here, along with this beautiful view.
It does not have to be, we don't have an approved list or anything like that. They just have to be licensed, insured, bonded, all that good stuff. You go in and we will lend up to 75% of the as completed value of that property. So not what you're paying for it, what it will be when that project is complete. So lots of money in there for you to be able to make that home the home of your dreams. Try to see what else. On the conventional side of it, now on top of having FHA, VA, reno loans, jumbo reno loans, conventional reno loans, you can put as little as 3% down.
And is that up to what dollar amount?
That would be up to $647,200.
$647,200. Okay. So for example, ladies and gentlemen, on this property that is a great, fantastic, I'm going to grab my cheat sheet here. So if you are not online right now looking at 1110 North Lakeshore Drive, Unit 27N on Zenlist, which is my amazing app for that. This property is listed at $699,900, and I will tell you, my sellers are motivated because I sold them this unit in 2007. They've had a wonderful 15 years here, but they are ready to do something different in a warmer weather climates with their son, and I'm super excited to get them there. But they're motivated at this point. They are ready to do something else. And so Colleen's numbers, you'd actually probably be able to get in with a rehab loan and work that out and then go into with little as 3% down?
Yes, sir.
3%
3% down, and I'm gonna get the facts and figures on the jumbos here in 1 second to see if you wanna go, what we have to put down on that, and how much we can go up to on the jumbo side, renovation loan, which is any loan amount, not purchase price, loan amount of over $647,200.
So remember, so something like this that's at $699, once you put your money down on it, you can be under that threshold.
Correct.
And there are some wonderful things about not having to be in a multiple bid situation and also picking out your finishes almost like it's new construction.
Yep.
So we are going to talk a little bit also today about new construction as another option to get you out of the situation of the multiple bids. But right now, I'm going to walk you through this property while Colleen goes and grabs her figures. So if you've got some more questions for her, she's going to be able to get you, and off she strolls. So here we're going to walk around here. I'm going to do this with the tripod because I want to walk you through this incredible property. This is just, I'm obsessed with this place. I mean, I did sell it to them back in 2007, so, I did love it then, but I just love it even more now. So 1110 North Lakeshore Drive, this is a straight east view. It also has western and northern exposure. So this is, even within the building, is a really unique view. It's a very high floor, but they also have a northern exposure, which a lot of the other units in the building do not. This is a very intimate building, only 74 total units. And again, guys, look at this view, just incredible. Navy Pier, fireworks, Oak Street Beach, Michigan Avenue shopping right down the block. So absolutely gorgeous, stunning, the way that they've done it, very nicely decorated as well. Obviously, the decorations go with the owner when they move, but what does not is the bones. The bones here are incredible. We have had some people mention with this listing, which is why I brought Colleen in today, that they would like to open up this area here. And see, this area here could be an open concept. Now, my sellers and I both agreed we like cabinets, so they didn't do that, but they've got all these beautiful cabinets in here. If you wanted to do something different and open up this kitchen, a rehab loan would be ideal. And see, this is where we get into everyone is running down the street to bid on the place that's perfect and pay over asking and probably overpay, when in reality, you could have got something amazing, made it truly your own, like 1110 North Lakeshore Drive, 27N, and get a great price on it and have a better deal and potentially instant equity. So I'm going to walk you through the rest of this here. Excuse my shaky camera angles. And again, there's that great northern view. So hardwood floors in most of the rooms. These are the parquet floors that were very popular when this building was built in 1970. I gotta tell you, they're beautiful hardwood floors. You could stain them. You could do whatever you want with them. You could obviously also, win the rehab loan, do something else if you chose to. I think it would be a shame to rip up these hardwood, but that is an option for you because a rehab loan does not dictate what you can do with it. In other words, they're not gonna tell you, oh, well, that finish is too nice. By the way, guys, look at this great straight western view. The bedroom sizes in here are huge. This is bedroom number 3, and this is 14 by 12. So you could fit a king size bed, a desk, a Peloton. I mean, this is a huge closet space. I want to walk you backwards here and show you the closets. That is just, it's the space of this unit is what really gets me. And I'm like, why have we not instantly sold this? And I'll tell you why. because people are not doing the math on how great of a value something like this that they can do a little bit of work to make it what they want. This is another huge bedroom. By the way, this building has a fitness center, a beautiful pool. The pool is one of my favorite things. 24-hour door staff, parking. Parking comes with the unit. It's part of the assessments. And I'm going to walk you into the master here in just a second. So kitchens and baths. Let's talk about this rehab loan idea. Kitchens and baths are a big, there I am. Kitchen and baths are a big thing for a lot of people. And that's where you find a lot of equity that you can build up in a property pretty quickly during the rehab process. So what would I say to you? I would say focus on the kitchen and baths if you're going to be rehabbing a property. Whoops, there I am again. Never supposed to see yourself. But so I love this bathroom. Exactly it is. Look at the cool claw tub. Lots of neat stuff going on there. I would do minor work in there, if anything. Some other people, maybe it's your personal preference to do something else. With the rehab loans, you have no restrictions on where you spend the money as long as it's on the property. In terms of you'll have to probably submit a budget to them, but they're not going to tell you what finishes you need or that item is too much. And as Colleen told you, it does have to be a licensed, bonded, insured contractor. I have multiple of them that I can show you. Colleen is back with us here. And so while we talk about this unit just a little bit more, I want to just park us back with this incredible view, but I also want to maybe see if this is going to be, let's get the downtown view as well, kind of a more active one. I mean, this is just such a freaking cool unit. So, Colin, we can even sit down at the nice little desk over here, but all right, let's keep the conversation going. So I'm going to step back in front of the camera with one other conversation piece about this particular property. So a lot of people ask me, what is the total cost of kitchens and baths? Well, here's the reality is it all depends on what you're gonna do as far as finishes. Obviously, your labor costs are dependent on who your contractor is. I found a contractor that I trust in my own home. He's been on the TV show, as has this listing actually. And so we've got some really cool stuff that we can offer you, but what you need to know is what you want in terms of finishes. So is it Italian cabinets that go for a premium? Is it basic cabinets that are nice and functional but not expensive? Also, the same way with if you're going to go in and price out appliances. Are you going to go for stainless? Or are you going to go for Sub-Zero, Wolf versions of stainless? So your kitchen and your baths and any type of renovation, it all really is dependent on your materials as much as anything else. And yes, there are some supply chain issues right now, but they're not in most of the retailers that I'm working with right now. You may order something custom that takes longer, but if it is in stock, you can pick it up right now. So with this property here, taxes also are a good savings. I'm surprised about it is the taxes are approximately $12,000 here, which is a lot in a lot of places. However, for a giant 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,200 square foot condominium on Lakeshore Drive, it's one of the best values out there. This building and this particular unit, but this building in general, lower taxes than some of the other buildings around it. So I would encourage you, if you have not come to see this one yet, definitely consider coming and see this one. I can work with you on negotiation, obviously. Also, we can get a contractor in here, whether it's yours or one that I can help you find. If you would like to do something in here slightly different, we can get it all priced out and you can work on that as you're also negotiating with my client. So there's some smart things that you can do when you're not in a multiple bid situation. But let's talk about multiple bids for a second. So I have, for those of you that are in multiple bid situations, I have a list of what I call my lucky 7. And they're not always lucky, but there's strategically 7 different options you have. Number 1, and by the way, not all of these are going to be applicable to you depending on where you live in terms of what state, also who the other people are that are bidding, what the other agent feels about certain things, what the seller feels about certain things. You've really got to understand, hopefully with your real estate agent, whether it be me or another exit realty agent, or you are a agent on here from another office, talk to your managing broker, see their thoughts on these. But here's the first one of these 7 items. Escalation clauses. I personally, as a seller's agent, hate these. I feel like it's almost cheating or creating an auction environment. I don't like them personally. However, as a buyer's agent, I've now had to at least ask the seller's agent, is your seller willing to look at an escalation clause? And what that basically means is, an escalation clause is, we will beat any other bid by blank amount. So by $1,000 over that, or whatever other dollar amount you want to put in that blank, not to exceed blank overall purchase price. So you're not really giving an offer as much as you're saying, we'll pay bet $500 more than the next guy, but only up to this certain dollar amount. The problem becomes, especially as a seller's agent, what if you get multiple escalation clauses? I had one this year that had 12 offers. I had to build a spreadsheet. If you're an exit strategy agent, you have that spreadsheet in my coaching blog to just help my seller analyze, is it just price? Is it also some of the other things that I built in this 7-item list? So escalation clauses can get ugly. I don't particularly like them. Some sellers or sellers agents don't like them, and in some areas they're strongly discouraged. In Chicago, we are seeing them. So if you're in the mood to have an escalation clause, make sure your agent understands them, and also that the seller and the seller's agent are accepting them. So that's item 1. Item 2, an as-is rider. Now, I have a lot of concerns about this as a buyer's agent. And the reason why is I believe that you should always have an inspection. But an as-is rider, the way I am doing them is as-is subject to inspection. So as a buyer's agent, my buyer still has the right to an inspection. Never waive that right. I personally believe that. That's my advice, unless you're going to tear the building down and start fresh. So if you're going to do an as-is subject to inspection, that means no nickel and diming, no credits. When you get the inspection, you say, okay, I'm good, or nope, this is bad, I don't want this property anymore, and you get your earnest money back. So as is subject to inspection is a little bit better for a buyer. As is really dangerous if it's not subject to the inspection. As a seller's agent, keep in mind, as is subject to inspection still means that they have the right to the inspection, and they will have the inspection, which means your seller may still have the deal canceled by the buyer and does have to give the earnest money back. But guess what? As is subject to inspection, at least gives your seller the knowledge that they won't nickel and dime, they won't be haggling or back and forth. It's either take it or leave it once they get the inspection to review. So that's item 2, as is subject to inspection. Item 3, another controversial one. And again, why not just come to a great property like this that doesn't have a multiple bid situation on it and negotiate like we normally do, like normal human beings, as I said to Colleen earlier. Appraisal gap coverage agreement. You would agree as the buyer to basically fork out of your pocket the first 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. We're seeing insane appraisal gap addendums that you as the buyer would agree to fork out that dollar amount, or it's up to a certain cap. And what that is saying, basically, you've suspected this property may not appraise out because there's wild overbidding over asking prices and over the comparables. And so that appraisal gap waiver means that you are actually agreeing to give the substantial amount of money. Now that means that you must have a substantial amount of money that you just want to fork out on top of what the appraised price that the bank's appraiser is telling you. So that is, you must really want this property bad. However, if it is an apples to apples multiple bid situation and no one else has one of those because they're an agent that doesn't use them or doesn't know how to use them, your offer may look better, and hopefully you don't have that appraisal not come in at the appraised value, but you can't guarantee that. So it's risky, and it could be a lot of money out of your pocket, so you have to make sure you have that money. We can talk a little bit later about what happens if my property doesn't appraise out. That is a YouTube video I've already done for you, but we can talk more, and actually Colleen can give you her advice on that too. So she's going to come back on here in a minute because you're probably tired of looking just at me. So that's item 3, is the appraisal gap coverage. Item 4, a closing date that works particularly well for the seller. This is kind of a no-brainer for me. Ask the seller's agent, as the buyer's agent, what is important to your seller, closing date, etc. I have one very easily, the reason why we got it, they said we need a closing date 75 days out because we have no idea where my client's gonna go live. No brainer. Nobody else asked that, so guess who won the bid? My client. So that was an easy one. That doesn't cost you a lot of money. Closing date, so that's item 4. Item 5, more earnest money as a deposit. This shows you're serious, you have more skin in the game, as they call it. You know, earnest money goes towards your closing costs, goes towards your down payment, and if you have more earnest money, it makes you look like more of a solid deal. That money doesn't disappear. And earnest money means you have skin in the game. Unless you disappear, my feeling, and I'm sure there's gonna be someone that someday sees this as an attorney is gonna be all over me for saying this, but I believe as a buyer's agent, because I'm about 50% buyer's agent, 50% seller's agent, always have been for many, many years, so which is kind of a balanced agent. I believe as a buyer's agent, you really would have to be a reckless buyer. You basically have to disappear on the transaction unless you have a poor attorney in terms of performance that has forgotten to make sure that you're an attorney review, that you have your financing contingency, you have all these contingencies that protect your earnest money. That's one of my jobs as an agent and one of the attorney's jobs. It's one of the few things Colleen doesn't have to worry about as the lender, is the earnest money. But putting down more earnest money, more skin in the game, that's item 5. That would be very helpful. All things being apples to apples. Obviously, price still trumps everything else in most cases, but we're saying here are your 7 other items. Item 6, a lower loan to value, aka more down payment. Now, I love 3% down, 5% down. We're gonna get Colleen back on camera. We're gonna talk about the doctor money loan as well. The doctor loan program that is in some cases 0% down. It's a wonderful program for doctors, and it's expanding to some other people in other parts of the medical field. But all things being equal, a seller does not always understand that those are very safe programs, and they say, oh no, FHA, I don't want to have to go through all the extra hoops, or oh, VA, what's that? So it's very important that you do one of 2 things. If you're going to put more money down to show strength, so 20% down, you're winning PMI, then great, good for you. If you don't have that option, like a lot of my clients do not, you need to make sure that you have the lender's phone number and maybe even a personal call from the lender. One of the reasons why I like Colleen, I dragged her all the way in from the suburbs today to come and visit you on camera at my listing, because she answers her phone. It is and text, because I'm a texter, most of you guys know that. It drives me nuts when you can't get a hold of the lender. These sellers and sellers agents need to understand if it's less money down, that it's okay. Or that if it is more money down, that the lender's great. Either way, a lender will reassure a deal when you're up against cash or when you're up against a more money down mortgage. So if you can put more money down, you may look more solid, great, good for you. Even if you don't, whatever the situation is with the lender, make sure the lender's cell phone number is on the pre-approval letter, that it is a full pre-approval letter, and that you as the agent, so that was item 6, you can either do lower loan to value, if you can put more money down for the, not only there is money, but for the down payment, makes you look more solid, but also here's one more thing within item 6, we're actually gonna kind of make this item 6.5, interest rate. You have an option to have a cap on interest rate. Make sure that cap is higher than maybe what you think the market's gonna do in the next 3 to 6 months. So, for example, Colleen, by the way, you can come back on camera, this is not that great. So right now, interest rates are on average, I know, depending on the loan program, that's different, like what?
We're like mid to upper 4s, getting there,
Ooh.
depending on your program scores,
Yeah,
etc.
they're getting higher, guys, which is, again, why we're urging you to do these decisions, make these decisions about your business now. But I would then put 5%, maybe even 5.5% as your interest rate cap as on the contract, so that guess what happens then? That if interest rates do go up a little more, this transaction drags out, that the buyer was so close. Because if you put that close to where, so if right now one of Colleen's programs is at 4.5%, and you put 4.5%, that gives no room for this market, and that means the buyer's deal could die. It would be voidable basically at that point, cancelable. So guess what happens? The seller's SOL, for lack of a better term. So that seller's probably not gonna take that offer in a multiple bid situation. So watch your interest rate percentage, because that is no more money out of your pocket today, that's more money out of your pocket if the market jumps, all right? Last but not least, this is another controversial one. A personal letter to the seller submitted with the offer. Now, if you go online, there's been all kinds of talk about, should I do that or not? I am of the belief, and you can go on my Instagram and look at the pictures of all the different types of people that I work with. I believe that most of the time a traditional seller is not going to care that much about that note. However, I have personally seen sellers that have a vested interest in having their home not torn down for a developer, or they have absolutely loved it there and they want someone else to love their home, it win in a multiple bid situation over a higher asking price or a higher offer price. So talk to your agent. If you are an agent, talk to your energy broker about that. I personally continue to use them. I think it was USA Today that quoted me on that pretty recently. There was a court case that said, hey, it's freedom of speech, you can do whatever the heck you want as a buyer, and so I'm gonna submit it. I'm gonna have a letter from me as the agent indicating that I pick up the phone, that I will work with you, that my lender is experienced. And so for example, and then I'm gonna let Colleen talk a little bit more, because we're at the 30-minute mark already. It's a long day. So one of the things that I think is important to note is that when Colleen and I most recently started working together on the deal that we're working on now, it is a rehab loan. It is for a client that literally everything else he was looking at, they were grabbing up instantly. And I said, do you want to be in a multiple bid situation, or do you want to go to this place that's been on the market 30 days? And we did extremely well with the negotiation. I can't give you the exact numbers because it's not closed yet, but let me tell you, we didn't pay anywhere near asking price. We got a good solid deal. The seller got a good solid buyer, because this buyer isn't going to nitpick during the inspection, because guess what? They're going to rip half that stuff out. So Colleen, talk to us a little bit more about rehab loans and whatever else. I'll see what other questions we've got on here.
Sure, the rehab loans, so as I said before, we've got 3%, 5%, however you want to go. Back to Nick's point about buyers putting down 3%, 5%, whatever it may be. I encourage the seller's agent to call me and talk about that buyer, because a lot of times now I have buyers that are not wanting to put all their cash down. They may have $500,000 in the bank. They don't want to touch it because their money is losing interest every single day. We've got a war going on, we've got stuff going on. They don't want to liquidate all their funds. They want to just put that 3 or 5% down and keep their money liquid and safe. It's a good thing to do. So they may be the best buyer out there, even though it's not cash and it's not 30% down, 50% down, whatever the case may be. We also have we have jumbo rehab loans as well. Depending on your credit score, depending on your situation, it's 15 to 20% down, and we can go up to $150,000 in renovations, or 20% of the as completed value. They're a little bit different than the conventional ones. We have to jump through some hoops. We're going through title companies, etc., for draws and stuff like that, which I will lay out and walk you through all of that. Whereas our conventional ones are so much easier. We lend the money. You're not working with a title company. You're not working with draws from a title company. Your contractor gets their money. You have a one-time close. You lock that loan in right now. You close in 30 days or whatever Nick puts on that contract for you. You close and you get your money after the fact. And it's that simple. They're not complicated at all.
So Colleen, we do have one question. I'm actually going to hop back on screen with you. This will be the end, guys. We promised our sellers, my sellers, that I would be out of their home so they can enjoy the rest of their beautiful afternoon. This is the property, again, motivated sellers, huge opportunity here to make it your own, and it is just a stunning, not only location, but the views are, where else are you going to find these views for anywhere near this low of a price? Colleen, we did have a question. Where do you see the market going in the next 6 months?
Where I see it going, and from all the powers that be, and if I had that crystal ball, I'd be a billionaire, and I probably wouldn't be talking to any of you
Probably
right
wouldn't
now.
have driven in from the suburbs.
I
for
probably would
anything.
not have, no, I would be living in the suburbs, be an island somewhere. Anyway, I see rates continue to go up from here. The market's still gonna be good. We're still gonna have purchases driving the market. Inventory is low now. I see that picking up. I do see though now, coming into end of 2023, maybe beginning of 2024, if inflation stays at the clip that it is now, we're gonna be back in another recession. So all you people that are at 4.5%, 5% on an interest rate, I'll just be refinancing you in a year or two back in the twos, so nothing to worry about.
Well, let's hope that
We don't
doesn't
want a
happen. We don't want
recession,
that to happen.
But
But if you do, and here's the bottom line from I'm gonna answer that question as well, is that my take on this is, my first mortgage was at 8.975 interest rate, and that is not for those of you shady friends of mine on there, oh, he's got bad credit. No, this was 23 years ago in 1998. My first mortgage was one of the first deals that I did as a realtor, was for myself because I'm an investor. So this is the thing, is I've seen interest rates 9%, 8%, 7%, then we had 9/11, then we had eventually the stock market or the real estate market great recession. And so we've seen interest rates at these historic lows that you're not gonna see again unless there's something awful that goes on. So what's gonna happen is you're not gonna have this affordability again. And even though, yes, there are properties going 20, 30, 40,000 over asking price, and I do raise, well, I got Botox, so maybe raise an eyebrow at that. We had to have some jokes in there somewhere, guys. Is that I do raise an eyebrow at that, but the reality is that your affordability, even if you keep that mortgage only 7 to 10 years, wow, your affordability is so much more. You can afford more house than ever before, and you'll save more money on that house or investment property, whatever it is, over time. So I feel like the next 3 to 6 months are about as good as it's gonna get for both buyers and sellers. The higher the interest rates go, the less you can afford as a buyer. And by the way, as a seller, if you're kind of going, well, maybe I'll paint the place next month, then I'll put it on the market, in 3 months, or I want to stay here 1 more year. You may not have this type of buyer, this passionate buyer, this interested buyer that can afford it because of the interest rate. So it's all about interest rates. There's 2 things that make a great property in terms of, well, obviously location, but in terms of a deal, price. Yes, of course, price, but also the carrying cost, the price of the property over time. And that, my friends, is where Colleen comes in. Colleen, everybody, you know how to get a hold of me, guys. It's all over this YouTube channel and everywhere else. But Colleen, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
the best way to get a hold of me is to call or text me. I answer my texts, as I said, all the time. 630-234-6340.
One more time, Colleen.
630-234-6340.
All right, thank you very much for driving all the way up from the
Of
burbs.
course,
But again,
anytime.
she's just amazing. I really enjoy her passion for her industry. How long have you been doing this?
23 years.
23, so they're almost the exact time. Literally, we've been doing this forever, guys. But we love what we do, and we would love to work with you. So thank you very much. If you did not get your question answered, or you had one that you privately want to message her about finances, talk to her. Me about real estate, about 1110 North Lakeshore Drive, or any of my other listings. Derby Pines in the suburbs. I do want to talk about Derby Pines and Fifth Avenue construction for 1 second. And can you lock in interest? This is maybe a dumb question. Can you lock in interest rates on new construction as it's being built?
You absolutely can.
I did not know that.
Yes, we can.
So, because what I've got at Derby Pines, which is a beautiful, beautiful, intimate 8-lot subdivision, so there are only 8 homes there, gorgeous, is that you can lock in your interest rate, Colleen, and then also, you're not in a multiple bid situation because these are being built. You can do a custom build or you can do a spec build, and I have to tell you, as someone that's been on the buy side with Fifth Avenue construction, I just think they are amazing. It is a family operation. Like Colleen, they answer your texts, they respond to you, they do beautiful work. And if you're not finding what you need on the market, do a rehab like you potentially could do here, or do new construction and get it exactly to your liking as well. So one more bonus for you. Fifth Avenue Construction, Derby Pines, check out my posts on Instagram. I'll be doing a lot more talking about them this week because we have a build that you could be in yet this year. So you can be in before the holidays probably. All right.
Super excited.
Yes, all right. Bye guys. Thank you so
Bye.
much.